and I just realized I'm alone out here, so I can take off that mask. Oh, it is brisk. That wind coming in over the water is definitely brisk. I am standing out front of the National Maritime Heritage Culture Center, and it's in Mokpo, right by the water. There are over 290 underwater shipwrecks that are currently known in Korea, and this place is the leading research for how to unsink them, I guess you could say, how to raise them. I think that's probably the most appropriate way to say it. It is actually a very interesting museum. I mean, it's free. Let's put that out there first. And as you go through, you could definitely see where they put all their focus on the museum. And it's really around one boat, a wreckage rather, that was actually found quite close to here. I think that's the reason why this is the main place. I think it was 6 kilometers is what they said off the coast of a place near Mokpo. And it was the Shinon, I believe that's how you say it, the Shinon wreckage. And it was a ship that was going between Korea and Japan. It was actually shipping items to Japan. And they believe it got caught up in either a typhoon or some sort of storm, and it got sent to the bottom. And one really interesting thing about it is that they were able to find it in pretty pristine condition, even though it's hundreds, if not thousands of years old. And they raised a good chunk of it. Now, the boat is probably not as complete as you'd probably picture, like as you see it here, but what they raised was everything the boat was carrying, because it was a cargo ship, and that is impressive. Like the amount of stuff that they're taking from here, doing trade. I guess it makes sense because it was a fairly large boat. They said it was a 32-ton boat, would be the equivalent of what it is today, and that the amount of items that they had on there was crazy. It's not even everything off the bottom of the ocean. They actually were able to raise we have a ton of forklifts racing down this street down here, and it's like they're making quite the racket. But they're able to raise quite a few of the items that were being shipped. And what's kind of cool is not only did they raise the items that were shipped and the boxes that were being shipped in, but the boxes actually contained the namesake and the amount that was in each box. So, as you ship something, it's going to have like a who's this for and how many items are in there, kind of like a shipping label. And these shipping labels back in the day were old wooden pieces that had writing on them, and they were able to actually find those and actually restore those as well. So the amount of ceramics that they were shipping, that was incredible. Now, I will admit, the first thing that you run into when you go into their first hall here is the ceramics, like how ceramics and celadon. I have no idea what the difference between the two are. To me, they're the same, but they must be different because they specify each word. Made Korea a famous place in the world, and that it was very important that Korea use that in their trade. And they kind of open up with that to show the link of Korea to the world, and then as well as how the world actually links together. They go into all sorts of different items that the trade ships had, and when you go into the main hall for the Shinon wreckage, you actually get to see all the items that they brought up. And it wasn't just ceramics, which there was a ton. Like, there was an entire wall on a warehouse that was dedicated to show all the ceramics, and they weren't just being shown like you could see what the plate looks like. They were actually stacked as well on shelves to show the incredible amount of ceramics that were brought up. Everything's behind glass, of course, so it's protected. And beyond that, though, they also had pieces of wood, sandalwood, I believe is what they said, which was really good for making furniture. And they had another, what was it? Something that was like a rosewood or something like that to make incense. So that when monks pray, or the temples when they use incense, that it would smell real nice. And that was some of the other stuff that they had on there. More interestingly, they had Chinese coin, which that was really interesting to me, because it never clicked to me that the majority of Asia used Chinese money as their currency. Isn't that like a strange thought? Like, who would have thought, right? I'm here in Korea. I should just use US dollars, right? That should be the main currency. In a way, that's how it was back then. Chinese coinage was the main currency. And they were shipping a lot of it to Japan. And there's this, they only opened up one crate, but they showed you what it looked like and how they really were able to restore everything to look really good. They had photos of it, what it looked like when it came out of the water, and then they had the actual coins on display, and that's pretty amazing, like the before and after. So that was probably the main part, the main floor of the museum. The other floors then go into the like history of the boats and like how they've improved over time throughout the world. And then it went to how Korea improved their boats from beginning to end. Kind of funny, the world one, you can kind of see the like the raft, a kayak, like animal skins that were like pulled over bone or wood to kind of create something that would float. And then it went into like kind of like those galleon styles, like Spanish galleons and items like along those lines. They had a few little things in between. Oh, one really interesting one was they had a German cog model. Apparently that was a real important turn in shipping because it actually made long distance shipping possible, is what I read. When it goes into the Korean side though, oh sorry, let me finish up. And then they kind of finish off with the Titanic, which I don't know if that's the best idea to finish off with, but they did finish off with that one. And then you go to the Korean side where they show like the beginning and ends of Korean shipping, and the Korean boats at the very beginning, the vessels are very humble. And then they go into like how they get into like the turtle boats and stuff like that, which are really cool. What defeated the Japanese during the Imjin War of the 1500s. And then it went into a like modern day shipping type deal where they showed their first battleship, and I didn't know it was a battleship. I thought it was a cargo vessel, and what it was a cargo vessel that was converted into a quote unquote battleship, and it had just machine guns added to it. In the notes below, it says that they understood that this was inadequate as a battleship and kind of a joke to be called a battleship, and that they ended up purchasing their first battleship with 3-inch guns from Japan. The Kawasaki company is what they said, from Gobe. I think they meant to write Kobe, but it said Gobe, Japan. I don't know. Maybe Kobe was known for you know, Kawasaki to me is, I thought was Nagoya, although I might be getting that mixed up with Toyota. I digress. Anyways, that was really the final part of the museum, and really a quick and easy hour, I would say, here is more than enough to get around. If there's anything outside, I don't know. It's too cold right now, and I'm obviously standing in the shadow. Like, you could see the sun glare coming. That's actually a reflection off of the things in front of me. And so it's too cold to walk around. There are a couple of boats way out on a dock behind the building. I don't know if I could actually get there, but the goal now is to see if I could get to Gatbawi Rock, I believe is, or Gatbawi, which is a rock, and that should just be about maybe a kilometer or two further south of here. So I think that's what I'm going to try to do now. This place is a total recommend, 10 out of 10. If you're here in Mokpo, totally do it. It's free, parking's free, the information's good, and there's plenty of English. Actually, I think as I'm here, it's one of the few places that like is a Maritime thing that does have a ton of English, so do take that as a note. Everywhere else that I've been so far has been really lacking in English here, so yeah. No, I mean, not that that's their fault, right? I just don't speak Korean, or I don't understand Korean, so this is an easy in and out for me. Anyhow, let's go ahead and end this here, and I'll see you in the next video.